Oh, hi, Mark. This is a long shelf. There's a lot of movies on this shelf. So, in theory, I'm going to do these a little quicker than I normally do. Whilst I do the do. Oh, good job. You made everyone cringe again. Fantastic. Yeah, I guess let's just get right into this, because this is a lot of movies, guys. It was a very long shelf. Like, some of these shelves are just longer than others, and this is one of the long ones. So, if you hear something go crash, it's these giant stacks of movies that are just going to topple over at some point. The 2019 Pet Cemetery Remake. No, I do not own the original Pet Cemetery, which I know is crazy. What's really weird, Pet Cemetery, the original, the 1989 one, is the one, like, the one film where I go to stores constantly and I see the 1989 Pet Cemetery movie and I have it in my hand, and I'll have it in my hand for like 15 minutes walking around the store, and then I finally decide I don't need it, and I put it back every single time without fail. Swear to God, I've done that upwards of 12 times. It's utterly insane, and I don't know why it's that movie, and I don't know why I always do it. But 2019's Pet Cemetery, I didn't think this was bad. I got it at Black Friday, the year that this came out, 2019. And so, you know, obviously I was going to buy the new Pet Cemetery movie for a very discounted price, but I didn't think it was that bad. I think everyone, I don't know, I think everyone kind of dogs on remakes a little too much any damn way, but that one was really kind of, everyone hated it for some reason. I don't get hating that movie. The Phantasm Collection. Unfortunately, this is the only copy of the Phantasm movies I own. I would love to own one of those, like, really nice spheres. Those things are tasty. But, you know, right when I was trying to get into more obscure horror, I found one of these at a Walmart. And I purchased it. You know, and so this has been good enough for me for the Phantasm movies ever since, and it actually really kind of bothers me because it's on that stupid. There's only one, like, it's not flaps either. It's just this one spear that goes through the middle of all 5 movies. The 5th movie sucks, by the way. Pieces. This is like the Diamond release. Yeah, Diamond Entertainment. This is the Diamond Entertainment release of Pieces. Really basic stuff, but I found it at a thrift store a little bit back. I was like, man, you never find movies like Pieces at the thrift store. And so I don't know, there was this weird compulsion in me. I was like, I have to buy this. And so I did. Yeah, it's a problem because I already owned the Grindhouse one, which if I own the Grindhouse one, I'm never going to watch this. But it just, there was a compulsion there that I can't quite explain. It was just like, I have to buy this. Piranha, this is the 2000 something. Oh, 2010. Or 2011, one of the two. This is the 2010's Piranha. It's pretty good. I mean, in my opinion, it's sufficiently fun. It is what it is. It's not anything mind-blowing. Planet Terror. Speaking of fun, this movie is barrels of fun. If you haven't seen Planet Terror, like, I didn't actually expect to like Planet Terror as much as I did. So, keep that in mind also. Like, if you've been putting it off because it maybe doesn't look like your style of movie or whatever, rethink it, because Planet Terror is really cool. Playback. I found this one at a Dollar Tree. And I haven't seen it. I have not seen this movie. This is actually one of the kind of more well-known films that I've ever found at a Dollar Tree. But yeah, I have not seen Playback. I do intend on watching that. I want to say relatively soon, but I know that would be a lie. Just sometime within my lifetime, basically, to make it worth owning. Pledges. This movie looks terrible. I think I saw like the first 5 minutes of this movie. My buddy and I popped this in one time, and we basically started watching it, and it got about 5 minutes in, and he's like, "Can we just change movies? This movie looks like it's gonna be dog shit." I was like, "Yeah." So I haven't watched Pledges since I tried to watch it the one time. Poltergeist, of course, this movie's fantastic. I mean, seriously, Poltergeist is an amazing movie, and this is one of the first films that I owned. Like, one of the first horror films that I owned. In fact, I think it was like the third one. I got Insidious, and then I think I got The Grudge, and then I think I got Poltergeist. But anyway, Poltergeist, in my opinion, is just a great movie. It's such a fun movie. A double pack of Poltergeist 2 and 3. I'm not a huge fan of Poltergeist 3. Poltergeist 2 is pretty good, but I do own Poltergeist 2 on Blu-ray, so realistically, I only own this for Poltergeist 3. The reason I bought the double pack instead of just a solo release of Poltergeist 3 is because I found this at a pawn shop. So, The Possession. I used to really like this movie back in the day. My appreciation for it has gone down a little bit. But overall, I still think it's a pretty neat movie, but don't put too much stock into that, since I haven't watched this movie in years. Yeah. But I do intend on rewatching it someday. Possessor. I wasn't as big on this movie as everyone else was. I think this was in one of my pickup posts, but so I've probably already covered this, but I'm just not as huge on Possessor as a lot of people seem to be. Predator. Yes, Predator is in my horror collection. I do believe this is an action horror film, and it's a very cool one. Not one of my favorite... Well, it is one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, but I mean, I do prefer the Terminator and Terminator 2 and Commando. To the Terminator movies won't be covered in here. I don't think the Terminator movies are horror, but yeah, Predator. Really cool movie. Predator 2. Honestly, I like Predator 2 a lot. And this last watch, I don't know. I don't know if I prefer Predator 1 or 2. Like, Predator 2 is so much fun. It's certainly not as good of a film as Predator 1, but I don't know, man. I may like Predator 2 more. Which I know is blasphemy, and honestly, I feel like I should have apologized in advance for saying some off-the-wall shit like that, but... Oh boy, Predator World. I've never seen this. This film was one that I found at the Dollar Tree. Pretty sure this movie has Sean C. Phillips in there. As in Cool Duder. Here on YouTube. Is this the right movie? Yeah. With Sean C. Phillips. So, I don't know. That's kind of cool. It's got one of the horror tuber guys on here. So that might be worth the watch alone. But, yeah, Predator World. It looks cheesy enough. Maybe a little bit of fun. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I honestly don't even know why I still own this movie. If I'm being entirely honest with you guys, I bought this movie way back at on Black Friday 2016. So I must have bought this in 2016. That has to have been when I bought this. Which, it's been 4 or 5 years then of me owning this movie and not watching it. But I don't know, man. What are you gonna do? Some movies I watch and I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it someday, and then someday comes and I still haven't watched it. But I don't want to get rid of it just in case there is like an inclination in me to watch it someday. Primeval. I have never seen this film. Looks interesting though. I'm interested in anything that's like killer alligators and stuff like that. Prometheus, weirdly enough, I've never seen Prometheus. I've actually put that off a lot. So the Prom Night Collection. Funny thing about this, it says includes 3 movies. No, it does not. Nope. It leads you to believe that it includes Prom Night 2, and Prom Night 4. It doesn't. It includes Prom Night 2 and Prom Night 4. And this was empty when I bought it. And by the way, I bought it from a retailer. And it was in the cellophane. I bought it from a Shopko, which don't exist anymore. But, like, that's completely ridiculous. Of course, I didn't take it up with them because I already owned Prom Night 1. So it wasn't a big deal to me that I wasn't getting it in this triple pack. But seriously, you gotta, I don't know, you gotta look into that. That's, as far as the producers of that DVD, which I'm pretty sure is like Mill Creek or something like that. It's Echo Bridge. Same damn thing, honestly. They both suck. But, Mill Creek has it. I think I've seen a couple of cool things from Mill Creek. Pretty sure that was it the Hammer collection that was put out recently that was from Mill Creek? That was kind of neat, but anyway. Yeah, I just found that funny. But, Prom Night 3 and Prom Night 4? Yeah. Prom Night 4, I guess. Oh, okay. Prom Night 3 and Prom Night 4. Honestly, Prom Night 3 is my favorite one of the franchise. I know that's probably, I think most people's favorite prom night of the franchise, like people who've seen all of them, I think people tend to lean towards Prom Night 2. I just think that Prom Night 3 is a little more fun than Prom Night 2. And Prom Night 1 is kind of boring. But Prom Night, the 2008 remake. I don't hate this movie. I actually own 2 copies of this movie. I own this one, and then I actually own the unrated cut up there. Don't think I bought it for like any amount of money. Like this one, I actually think I did pay a little more for, unfortunately, but the unrated cut I paid like $2 for. So Psycho. What else am I gonna say about Psycho? This movie is actually fantastic. I mean, man, everything in this movie is great. The way it's shot, the score, the story is disturbing, honestly. And that final scene where they have Norman Bates in the they have Norman Bates in custody, and you know the guy's like, "Can I bring him a blanket?" He feels a chill. Like, yeah, sure. And he brings him the blanket, and you know, Norman Bates just sitting there, of course, consumed by the mother half of his mind. And I'm going to do a really shitty Mrs. Bates impression, but it's like, it's sad, really, when a mother has to speak the words that condemn her own son. And then, like, the fly lands on the hand, and she's like, "They'll see. I'm not even going to swat that fly. They'll see and they'll know, and they'll say, 'Why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.'" And then, like, the skull fades into his face. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And then it cuts to the car being pulled up from the swamp. It's so fantastic. I love Psycho. I also own it on Blu-ray. But that DVD's, it's sentimental to me. I'm never getting rid of that DVD, ever. That was the first copy of Psycho I ever owned. Bought it at a thrift store for like $3. I've watched that DVD so many times. And then the Psycho 4-pack, which comes with Psycho 2 through 4, and then a movie called Bates Motel, which I think is some kind of TV movie. I've actually seen Bates Motel. I just dropped it. I remember it being okay. Like, it was alright. But, yeah, the Psycho sequels aren't fantastic. I think they're pretty good, though. I think they're alright. Whew, Psycho Holocaust. This movie's hardcore. Not in that sense. You know, it's very kind of bad, and there's something that goes on with the dialogue in this movie and just the characters' voices, where all the ambient noise in the background is louder than the characters' voices, so you're actually struggling to hear the characters speak. And so you have two choices. You can either turn your TV up to where when anything happens in this movie, it's going to blow your speakers out, it's going to wake your neighbors from their dead of night sleep, or you can listen to it at a normal volume and not hear a word that anyone's saying. So that is unfortunate, because this is actually pretty good. And like I said, it's pretty hardcore. Like, there's some nasty stuff in this movie. All I'm gonna say is handsaw scene. Yeah. Pretty wild stuff. Pulse. This is the 1988, right? 88? Don't toy with me. There we go. 88. Yeah, 1988. This is the 1988 Pulse, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's fun enough. It's not good. I shouldn't say good. But, Pulse is fun enough. I like it. I like it enough to keep it around. Pulse, the 2001, I think that's the year. Oh, I'm so wrong. Oh, yeah. No, I was right. That's the year that DVD was released. Okay, yeah, 2001. This movie is really quite good for part of it, and then there's a lot of this movie, though, that drags a lot. This movie has some serious pacing issues. If you want to see my full thoughts on this one, I do have a review on it on the channel, so... Pulse 2006. This is not as good by any stretch of the imagination. The original is much scarier. This is Americanized garbage right here. That makes me sound pretentious and douchey when I call something Americanized garbage. Like, honestly, there are a lot of really good American horror films. But there are certain tropes within American horror films that, when applied to a good movie, can make it a not good movie. And that's what happened with Pulse. It's not terrible, I guess. Like, I'll rewatch that movie again someday, but I'll watch the original before I watch that one again, just saying. Pumpkinhead, 1987? I don't know why. It's driving me crazy. Like, in 1988, every time I pick up a DVD, I have to know what year the movie was released in. And I do apologize for that, guys. I'm going to scoot over again, because I feel like I'm cutting off the side of the movies, but... yeah, Pumpkinhead. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not a movie that... It's not a film that I am going to rewatch a ton of, but it is really good. You know, it's not super rewatchable to me. And you're catching a glimpse of my damn hamper in the background that just has my shirt strewn over the side of it because I'm a jackass. Anyway, oh dear God, okay. Puppet Master: The Legacy. I hate this. Do you have any? I paid $12 for this movie. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I paid $12 for this movie. I paid full movie price for this movie. Are you kidding me? Do you have any idea? I think I counted it up at one point, and I want to say there's about 11 or 12 minutes total of new footage in this film. The rest of it was recycled footage from old Puppet Master movies. Whoever thought this was a good idea honestly deserves to be fired. I'm gonna guess that Charles Band had to have okayed this. From that point on, I don't know, the studio should have been handled by someone else, because you don't screw fans like that. That is one of the grossest things of all time. You don't screw fans like that. That's something you don't do. I don't mean to like be that guy and just get angry about something like this, but like, it is one of the slimiest things possible to just put such little effort into something and go, okay, here's a new movie, money please. And it really is. It's slimy. It's disgusting. And that's how I can best describe this movie. It's a slimy cash grab. And I hate that I have it in my collection. However, I do have it in my collection because I haven't... I like having the physical presence there. Otherwise, I would take this movie out in the woods and shoot it with a shotgun. Genuinely. I kid you not. I've done that to movies before. That I hate. But... I don't know, man. Puppet Master: The Legacy, it's bad. It really is. I found this at a Dollar Tree, and Puppet Master 1 through 9 and Killjoy 1 through 3, I had already owned most of the Puppet Master movies and most of the Killjoy movies, but this was at the Dollar Tree, and I didn't own Puppet Master... I want to say 9. Yeah. Puppet Master 9 is the one that I did not own. And so I bought this for Puppet Master 9, even though I own the box set right there where my finger's pointing. So, I mean, I have all the other Puppet Master movies on a separate release, but... I figured, you know, for $1, I'll pick it up for Puppet Master 9, and if nothing else, if I'm ever traveling, like if there ever comes a point in my life where I have to travel, that's probably a pretty good type of thing to have. Anyway, Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. I think this movie's actually really, really fun. Takes place on Christmas. Christmas Eve. So, this is a movie that I don't actually watch outside the holiday season. Ugh. Dear Lord, man. My shoulders hurt. It's probably because I slouch so bad. But, whatever. Puppet Master X Axis Rising. I haven't seen this movie. I haven't actually seen Puppet Master 9 either, but I need to. I need to eventually, and I will get around to them, but... Puppet Master: The Littlest Strike. This movie's awesome. That movie is actually fantastic. That is one that I highly recommend. We got through the first stack of movies, which is pretty crazy. Honestly, a little quicker than I was thinking I would, actually. So that's good. The Purge. This is an alright movie. I think people give it the old blowy a little too much. This franchise as a whole, like, I've only seen 1 and 2, but like, it's a decent concept. It's just they've never been my favorite movies. The Purge 1, not my favorite film. But it's okay. The Bridge Anarchy, on the other hand, I don't like this film. I think this movie's stupid as shit. This movie is one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, it isn't that bad, and it's kind of fun in a sense, but just the subplots with, like, the government being in on these purges, and they'll, like, go out there and shoot people and do all this stuff to encourage participation, and then there's this weird underground group of, like, rich guys that kidnap people to murder. Like, it's stupid. It's so unbelievable. And I say that wearing a Nightmare on Elm Street shirt. I don't know, man. Like, there's something about how unbelievably unbelievable the Purge Anarchy is that just makes it utterly stupid and almost unwatchable to me. Quarantine. I have not seen the original. What was the original called? Wreck? I haven't seen any of the original Wreck movies. I have seen Quarantine. Quarantine's decent. Queens of Scream. This is a little, like, 4-pack. I used to own almost all of these movies individually, except for The Cave, and then I gave them all to my buddy. But yeah, this movie contains Vacancy, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Oh, wait a minute. No, I did used to own The Cave individually. I didn't own I Know What You Did Last Summer individually, because that's what I bought this for. Yeah. So this contains I Know What You Did Last Summer, Vacancy, The Cave, and When a Stranger Calls, the 2006 remake. And I actually like all of those movies. I really do. They're all pretty cheesy in their own ways. Except for maybe Vacancy. That movie's not that cheesy. But I don't know. Decent movies, though. Nothing mind-blowing. The Raven with John Cusack. I was going to say Johnny Depp. Why was I going to say Johnny Depp? I don't know, man. But, yeah, The Raven. It looks cool, and the premise sounds cool. I've never taken the time to watch it, oddly enough, because that movie actually sounds like it's going to be up my alley. But Ready or Not, this is another one. I mentioned on the last video that Midsommar was a movie that I had bought from a local grocery store. Because every once in a while, this local grocery store, it rents out movies, and every once in a while they'll have a movie in there that's basically like people have stopped renting this movie. Like, I guess it hasn't made money for a while, so they're like, yeah, let's just sell this. And so this is another movie I bought from the local grocery store, and it's pretty sweet because I got that for a really affordable price, really cheap. The Reaping, I've never seen it. I've always thought this movie looked kind of cool, though. I remember seeing the trailers to that and always thinking it looked pretty cool. Red Island, it's a dollar store movie. Kind of an interesting premise, though. Red Summer. It looks like a slasher movie. It's another dollar store movie, though. I hope it's a slasher movie. And furthermore, I hope it's a slasher movie worth my damn time. Probably not, though. Rear Window. This is another fantastic Hitchcock movie. I'm not the hugest Hitchcock fan, personally. Like, I recognize Hitchcock as an amazing director. He makes, or made, I guess, incredible movies, but the thing about it is, like, I've never been the hugest Hitchcock fan. I guess I prefer more straightforward horror. A lot of his stuff isn't even horror. Rear Window is in the horror collection kind of loosely. But Rear Window is a very good movie. For sure. And definitely one of my more favorite type of Hitchcock films. Like, I can almost guarantee you, I haven't seen very many other ones, but I can almost guarantee you I'm not going to like any other Hitchcock movie as much as I like Psycho, The Birds, and Rear Window. I can almost guarantee that. Anyway, Resident Evil. It's not great. I had heard that George A. Romero made a Resident Evil script. And he took it to the studio, and the studio was like, no, it's too long, you need to trim it down. And George A. Romero was like, are you fucking high? I'm George A. Romero. You are... Excuse me? Trim it down? And they're like, yeah, no, you need to trim down your Resident Evil script because we can't make this movie too high budget. People won't go to see it. And so they turned away George A. Romero, one of the greatest minds in horror directorial history. The guy that made Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, The Crazies, Martin, which I haven't seen, but I've heard is great. I mean, we're talking. This guy has made a name for himself. If you ask me, George A. Romero had at that time made such a name for himself that he has the right to make whatever the hell he wants. And honestly, if that story was true, shame on those guys for turning away George A. Romero. That's crazy. And then basically, and he wanted to direct as well. He didn't just make the script. But anyway, and then of course what we ended up with is this mess of a Paul W.S. Anderson action blockbuster movie. It's not bad. I mean, it's a fun movie, actually. It's really fun, but oh man, I would far would have preferred the George A. Romero movie. Alright, moving on here. Rest Stop 1 and 2, which is Rest Stop, Dead Ahead, and Don't Look Back. These movies aren't very good. So Rest Stop, Dead Ahead isn't that bad. Like, it's alright, but Rest Stop, Don't Look Back created a new joke. Like, it is a joke that has stood the test of time to this very damn day between my buddy and I. Whenever I go to his house, like, whenever we hang out, we make at least one reference to Rest Stop, Don't Look Back. And that's because fast forward about 20 seconds if you don't want me to spoil the second Rest Stop movie. Pretty much everyone is a ghost in that movie. And so it keeps repeating that twist. Oh my god, he's a ghost. Oh my god, he's a ghost. Oh my god, he's a ghost. And it does that over and over and over and over and over and over again until it becomes utterly obnoxious. And it's like, stop. We understand everyone is a ghost. We get it. Holy shit. Can you please choose a different shtick? And so now every single time when I go over to my buddy's house and, every time we hang out, we'll be watching a movie and it'll get to a certain part where we just think it's an opportune time to make the joke, where it would fit, and we'll turn to one another, and one of us will say, "Turns out it was a ghost all along." And oh god. Like, that phrase has been uttered so many times between my friend and I. It's ridiculous. But yeah, those movies are pretty bad. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're watchable. But I really wish they would have done something other than that over and over again. The Return of the Living Dead. This is a really good movie from 1985. I think I finally got that right. This says 1984, but I think it's a damn liar. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm messing up, but don't be messing with me, case of Return of the Living Dead. I don't know. Either way, Return of the Living Dead is really good. I tried to do a review on this. That video is age restricted because at the time I was still very new to doing YouTube, and so I didn't know like what I could get away with saying and not get away with saying. And so I just preemptively age restricted it just to be on the safe side, even though I definitely could have got away with not age restricting that video. But if you wanna check it out, it's under the title "It's Late, the Movie, the Review." So yeah, it was pretty fun to record, but overall I'm pretty glad that we ended up deciding not to finish that video, because it's better as just kind of a funny little botch, haha, look at what we did, we messed up sort of thing, over, you know, a legitimate Return of the Living Dead review. But Return of the Living Dead is fun. Return to Sender, I've never seen this movie. That was in one of the collection updates, I'm pretty sure. Riding the Bullet. This is a pretty cool movie. The main character's a pretty insufferable douchebag, though. From what I remember. Yeah, he's kind of a douche, honestly. And when I say kind of, I mean seriously. Like, he's one of these types of characters that's like, oh, look at me, I'm so deep and damaged, I'm so artsy, and I'm like, so artistic and deep and damaged, no one understands me. And it's like, we get it, bro. We get it. You listen to Marilyn Manson. I understand. Of course, that was a joke. I like Marilyn Manson's music, but God, he's so whiny. At least that's how he always came across to me. But Riding the Bullet overall is a pretty good movie. Ringu. This movie's overrated. Just putting that out there. I'm sorry. Hardly anything happens in Ringu. I mean, the atmosphere in this movie is pretty damn good. Other than that, like, the psychic angle with her husband, like, what? That's kind of cheesy, honestly. This guy's just a psychic. By the way, he slaps his wife in this movie. That's something. I'm sorry, like, I'm not a PC sort of dude. I understand that happens in movies. Like, it doesn't make me mad. But, like, it's just funny to me that these people that are really PC and super sensitive are like, oh my gosh, you can't do that sort of stuff in movies. Like, that is so uncool. And then they're like, Ringo. Oh, Ringo's amazing. I can't. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. The husband slaps his wife in this movie, so get wrecked. But, other than that, though, it's just not that great, honestly. The image in this movie, though, the eye, or like, it's Sadako's like face. I don't even remember in what context this shows up in the movie, but that image is burned in my brain. Like, her hair kind of parts, and it's just a close up of part of her face and her eye was like rolled back in her head, and then it kind of comes down. That's terrifying. That is terrifying, and that is the type of imagery that should have been in this movie, and unfortunately it just wasn't. Again, don't think I'm trashing on Ringu. Like, I don't hate the film. It's just, that's kind of silly to me that it's so praised. The Ring, the 2002 American remake. I actually prefer this to Ringu. In case you couldn't tell, I'm not like huge on Ringu, but The Ring, I've always thought was a really solid movie. Yes, it actually has scares. The visuals in this movie are really neat, and I'm not just talking about like I'm not just talking about the Samara stuff, but like the coloration of this movie, how everything's in this kind of bluish hue and everything looks super drab and depressing. I think that's a really cool visual choice, especially for this movie that's just super dark, but thematically, I mean, But yeah, I think the American remake is actually really, really good. The Ring 2. This is not really, really good. Honestly, I don't think it's as terrible as everyone says it is, but it's pretty bad. Like, I won't lie. I have no desire to ever upgrade this movie to a Blu-ray or whatever. I have this DVD. That'll be good enough for all of eternity. Well, speaking of I have this DVD and that'll be good enough for all of eternity, Rings. This movie is disappointing. I honestly don't even remember a huge portion of this movie. It has Johnny Galecki in it, so that's kind of cool. I like Johnny Galecki, but the rest of this movie is just not up to par. That kills me too. Of course, you guys can't see it, but it's like, discover the terrifying new chapter. And the terrifying has quotes around it as if they're quoting someone. Like someone said this, like, oh my god, this movie's terrifying. No one said that. No one watched Rings and thought it was terrifying. Maybe there was a 6-year-old kid somewhere who saw Rings and thought it was terrifying, but they're not quoting that 6-year-old kid. They want you to believe that some journalist wrote that. And I guarantee you they didn't, unless they are the biggest hack shill of all time. But no one thought Rings was terrifying. Of course, Kristen Acuna from Business Insider says, a thrilling return to franchise roots. So, she's not exactly, not a hack. I'm sorry, you're probably a very lovely person, and maybe that was a legitimate opinion. But I doubt at least the latter part of that. You might be a very lovely person, but I very much so doubt that was a legitimate opinion. Rites of Passage. I think this movie looks interesting. I haven't seen it yet. Rites of Spring. This movie is odd. Like, this isn't at all what I was expecting. It's like a creature feature slasher movie sort of thing. Very, very strange sort of movie. Not what I was expecting out of this. But I do recommend checking it out. Of course, I own these movies, so my opinion has no stock. Robert and The Curse of Robert. I've never seen these movies. I don't know why I bought these thinking it would be a good idea. Like, who buys the Robert the Doll movies? Luckily, I only paid $1 for them. They were at the Dollar Tree, but seriously, these movies have to be terrible. Like, they can't be good. I couldn't imagine they would be. Robert and the Toy Maker, another one. Like, I don't know how they made so many of these films, honestly. Like, who's buying these? I bought all these at the Dollar Tree. They can't be sustaining the budget off of a Dollar Tree sale. Like, who's buying these movies at full price? I want to know. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's funny, the first time I watched this movie, I felt a little uncomfortable about it. Like, it was so weird, to say the least. But I've watched it a couple times since then, and it's like, I shamelessly love The Rocky Horror Picture Show. This movie is hilarious. And it's just awesome. Honestly, like, and the music in this, it's all iconic and it's hilarious. Like, it's gotta be my favorite musical. Easily, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Give me this over The Sound of Music any day of the week. Although, if you know me, you know that I think The Sound of Music is kind of boring, but yeah, man, honestly, I think The Rocky Horror Picture Show is a really cool and fun movie. I mean, science fiction double feature, that is such, I don't know, it's such a great little, like, intro song. I have only seen this film 3 times, so if I'm getting stuff wrong, don't like murder me in the comments. But and then what was the dance they do in this movie? Because I remember, like, every time after I watch this movie, I am that song that it plays when they first discover all these people, well, aliens, I guess, in this castle. The song that they play with that dance scene gets stuck in my head so hard. But it's, I don't know, that whole movie is really funny. Damn it, Janet. Rodan and War of the Gargantuas. I've never seen War of the Gargantuas. I'm pretty sure this particular DVD is actually pretty out of print. So that's kind of neat. I think it's this DVD anyway. But yeah, I've never seen War of the Gargantuas. I have seen Rodan though. These aren't my type of films. These what are they called in Japan? I forgot what these are. But these giant monster movies, you know what I mean? Like your Godzillas and your King Kongs and your Rodins and your Mothras. I'm not huge on that sort of thing. But, you know, if I find one at, like, the thrift store, or, you know, just somewhere for cheap, I'm probably not going to pass on it. It's just that it's not my favorite subgenre of horror. And, yeah, I do think they're kind of horror films. They're not scary by any stretch of the imagination, but they really do... Like, there's a subgenre of horror, which is, like, monster movie. And then it's almost like the giant monster movies are like a subgenre of a subgenre. That's how I feel about them anyway. But, yeah, I'm not huge on them. Rosemary's Baby. I saw part of this movie way back in the day. I think I was probably in junior high. So I am not a good authority on this movie. Especially since I found it kind of boring when I did watch it, but I picked it up more recently, and I do want to watch this movie all the way through finally, but it's just, I need to be in the mood to watch something super slow and super long. Yeah, because this movie is over 2 hours long, so I really gotta be in the mood, and so far I just haven't been. Rose Red, I've never seen this movie at all. Another movie that is super long. Pretty sure this movie was out of print for quite the long time. But I'm trying to figure out the release date of this movie. Like, when you guys see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the case of the movie. And I'm sorry, that's probably super, like, disengaging to the audience, but audience. It's adorable that I think I actually have anyone watching these fucking videos. But, what little audience I do have. Thank you to that audience, by the way. Whoever tunes into these, I really appreciate it. But, anyway, moving on. Rubber. One of my buddies hates this movie. I honestly think this movie's kind of clever, which is odd. It overstays its welcome a little bit. But it is funny. It's a movie about a psychic killer tire. So, please watch it. Please do it. Pretty please. The Ruins, I've never seen this. Found it at a thrift store. It does look good, though. And I think I've heard good things about that one, too, so... The Sacrament, I'm pretty sure I found this at a, it was at a thrift store. Though I have seen this at a Dollar Tree before, I just didn't buy it at the time. I did end up paying $1 more for it because I bought it at the thrift store, but whatever. Small details. But The Sacrament, really good. It's based on the, Jim Jones cult sort of thing. And it's just really infuriating. Like, watching this movie is a really infuriating experience. Watching this guy manipulate all these people. And it's like, guys, how? That's always what I wonder with these cult-like movies, where it really delves into this, like, the goings-on inside the cult. It really makes me wonder how people are so receptive to it. And I understand that a lot of people who join cults are have just experienced tragedy, where they, they're at this place in their lives where they want to believe in something, and I understand that. But there are so many religions out there. Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, it's really not that intense, guys. Just go read a Bible or something. Try to believe in that before you believe in something like this, where a guy is telling you, if a guy is telling you that he is the prophet of God, just know he's full of shit. That's really all. It's as simple as that. Which sucks, because if you're a Christian, you believe in the second coming of Christ. I wouldn't believe it. If straight up Jesus walked up to me on the street and he's like, "Hey, I'm Jesus. How's it hanging?" Be like, "No, you're not. Stop. Get help. Stop it. Get some help." But yeah, this movie's pretty infuriating to watch, honestly. It's really good, though. Salem's Lot. This is a really cool movie. The vampire in this movie, in my opinion, is one of the scariest movie vampires of all time. Of all time. Hands down. There are two scenes in this movie that really give me chills. And actually, the one jump scare where, the head vampire is, laying down in his casket, and he suddenly opens his eyes. In the first time I watched this movie, I remember that actually made me jump, pretty hard. This movie is really cool. I will say that it has some extra stuff in there that's you probably could have left that out. I get it, they were trying to emulate the Stephen King book as well as they possibly could, which I'm not a big reader. However, the Salem's Lot novel is my favorite book of all time. Which, again, isn't saying much. I haven't read very many of them, but I do love the Salem's Lot novel. But I just think that some things didn't really need to be in the movie. You could have made this a bit more of a horror film, instead of this strange drama set in a small town where vampires happen to be, and I'm sure a lot of people love that, and that's fine, but I would have preferred that movie to be more focused on the vampires, because again, I think they're absolutely terrifying. Saltwater Atomic Shark. I bought this at the Dollar Tree because I like me some bad shark movies, which is funny because I never watch them. But I guess it's just I have this mindset where it's I could watch a bad shark movie or I could watch something legitimately good. Don't get me wrong, I actually do enjoy bad shark movies. I really do. There was a movie that my buddy and I watched. What was that movie called? I don't remember which one it was, but it was they CG'd this shark so poorly it looked like a cutout. A cardboard cutout or something that would just fly every once in a while across the screen like this. I mean, it literally flew. And it was amazing. It just, in the sense that it was absolutely hilarious, and I laughed my ass off. But at the end of the day, I think mostly I'd rather watch, The Beyond. Not specifically The Beyond, but you know what I mean. I love The Beyond. The Beyond is a really cool movie. It's really good, and so I'd rather watch something of that caliber than a crappy shark movie, even though I do enjoy crappy shark movies. Save Our Skins. I think this is a horror comedy. I've never seen this one. My nephew actually bought this for me for Christmas, which is kind of cool. You know, he was at the Dollar Tree with my mom, and kid was thinking about me, and that's cool. And so, yeah, I mean, I read the description on the back. It actually sounds pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to it. Save our skins. I want to watch that movie someday. And then this is the last movie on the shelf, guys. Holy crap, this was long. The Saw collection. This is Saw 1 through 7. I enjoy these movies. I think people are a little too hard on the Saw movies. Saw 1 is fantastic. I absolutely love Saw 1. Saw 2 is really good, actually. And then it kind of devolves into not as good, but still pretty quality. I mean, first of all, I will say the story in these movies is actually pretty impressive. Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews actually gave me a whole new appreciation for the story. Like, I went through and watched all his reviews, and I'm like, damn, like, they do kind of have a complex storyline, and I do find it cool that, like, they'll take a character from 2 movies ago and bring them back just to play a dead body of themselves. Which, I don't know, like, there's something to be said for that level of commitment to continuity. But anyway, I do like the Saw movies. I do own Jigsaw. I'm pretty sure we already covered that movie earlier. Yeah. Duh, because J becomes before S. No shit. Anyway, guys, if you made it this long, thank you for watching. Seriously, I appreciate it. I don't think anyone ever makes it to the end of these. If you do, let me know in the comments down below, because that's wicked. That's really cool. But again, I don't think anyone does. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this latest shelf. I think that's shelf 6. And we have a few shelves to go, and then we're gonna be getting into kind of the specialized areas of the collection. You know, the Blu-ray collection, the box set collection, and like the slasher collection. I might hold off a while to do the Italian collection, because again, I'm still building up some Italian movies. I'm fairly new to watching Italian movies, so I don't have like an impressive amount of them or anything. Not that the collection needs to be impressive. You know, there are people with far smaller collections than I have that I've watched videos on and I've enjoyed. But you know, at the end of the day, I would like to be able to talk about them for a little longer, you know what I mean? So I am going to build up the Italian collection a little longer. But anyway, I've been droning on long enough. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.